Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of 15 Good Minutes. It's your guy, Coach B, and I'm here with the A-Team as always. JR, how you doing, man?
All good, all good.
Freddie, what's going on in Dallas, buddy? How you doing?
Hey, man. Could be better, could be worse. I'm not complaining.
I tell you what's better is when you get a shipment of like your favorite stogies in, right? Now let's these here are the Oliva Melanio 6x60. I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to pick that up, but that thing rates like a 96 on the aficionado. Not my go-to, however, because I got a few boxes of these in as well. Okay. Which is the Oliva, also a 6x60, but this is called the Double Toro. I don't know if you're gonna be able to pick that up. So this one is round and tubular, if you will, slightly stronger than the Melanio. So it really depends on what your taste is like. But I'll say that the Double Toro is probably a good 2-hour smoke. This one here is about an hour and a half. Either way, you can't go wrong with either one of them. So do you have a favorite cigar?
Well, I smoke the whatever I like.
And that is
I've come across to a company called Swisher International.
Okay.
And they're behind the Acid brand.
Okay. Are they like, okay, I've seen those. You like them?
Yeah, they make all different types of cigars. In fact, I got a box, but I'm not gonna leave the screen to get it.
Fair enough. Freddie, what about you, man?
Back in my college days, I would say El Producto Optimal.
You might as well just say White Owl, man. Come on, man.
No, I mean,
Tiparello.
98 to 2002, man. But no, realistically, being honest, like I actually, like them, having cigars or whatever. I wish I had one now. I go up on the rooftop after the taping because the skyline where I live, I have a beautiful skyline.
I've seen it. Yeah, that view is awesome.
And one of my last few nights here in downtown Dallas. But I don't really know enough about cigars and what have you. When I went on my honeymoon to Cancun, they had a cigar shop at the resort, right? And I went in and I bought one. My wife doesn't like the smell of it, so I bought one anyways. Sat by poolside and cigar and whatever.
Way to start off a wedding.
What's that?
Marriage. What a way to start off a marriage.
I was celebrating. It could have been something else. I was in Mexico. It could have been something else. So at least this was, I wouldn't have to worry about a drug test coming back, but
yeah, I think you're on point though. For me, I mean, it's this is a good time of year, springtime, because I can get to the point once the weather really starts to break for me. I probably have at least one a day, on most days, and for me, it's the whole end of the day, like you just talked about, Freddie, whether you're outside and it's nighttime and you got one of those nice brown drinks like you have in your hand, and this typically I'll take maybe a laptop or an iPad out there and either, watch some YouTube or something like that. But I think it's a great way after a long day to wind down.
Relax, yeah.
Hey, trust me, when I was making dinner on Sunday, I was grilling some thick chicken breast. So I was going up and down the stairs. Once I was done, she was like, "Oh, you smell like smoke." Well, I have been on the grill. I mean, what am I supposed to? So she doesn't really like the smell of smoke. So I was just like, okay, whatever.
It's what we do. It's what we do. I'm going to jump in this week, man. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. We'll do our best to keep it to 15 minutes. I'm going to start it right off with, obviously, if this show is being released on this Friday, so we're into the second weekend of the NCAA tournament. I think it's been fascinating so far. Would love to get your favorite moments from the first weekend of the NCAA tournament. What do you got?
I don't really have a favorite moment, but I have favorite things. I'm a big fan of the schools that were small and used to get beat up by the bullies of college league. You know what I'm saying? And so I just give them big props, man. The Rutgers, these guys are playing. I'm not going to say above their head, but their talent is starting to show. We don't know how deep any of them are going to go, but
Rutgers already done.
Yeah, Rutgers done, but the other one is
St. Peter's
out of Jersey. Yeah, Jersey City. You know, you don't know how far these guys are going to go, and I'm so glad the days of Goliath beating all of these Davids, and so.
I think my favorite moment, like JR said, I don't really have a favorite moment. I thought all the games were pretty good for the most part, but if I had to pick a favorite moment, the favorite moment, of course, would be North Carolina beating Baylor. That would be because that's I did 3 brackets and I picked Baylor to beat them. And so, but that would be my favorite moment. Right. But all the moments were great.
And I think that's it. I obviously, I'm a homer, right? So for me, that win was big, but even the first one against Marquette was much bigger than I thought it would be. Yeah. For me, it kind of goes like to what you were saying, JR. I think this year it's just been parity, meaning I'm watching all these games and they're all going down to the last possession, Freddie. You know what I mean? Like somebody's missing a shot or a free throw or whatever. And that to me is what signifies what the tournament should be all about. So I just love the parity of it. And there's been some really good games. And hopefully this weekend, not only I'm hoping on Friday that we beat UCLA, but that the rest of these games in the Sweet 16 are equal to what they were in the first weekend, right?
I think I can safely say nobody's brackets look good.
No.
Oh gosh, no. But here's the thing: if all of them are bad, JR, then somebody's still gonna win.
The best of the worst.
Right, somebody's gonna be not as bad as everybody else. Leah Thomas won an NCAA national championship in swimming. You have any thoughts, any opinions on that from where you guys sit?
I don't want to offend anyone, but it's unfair. When you get a chance, Google Fallon Fox. Okay, MMA fighter, transgender, male to female, demolishing women, busting skulls. It's people are overlooking the science of a male and female anatomy. There's a difference. I'm sorry. You can compete in some things, but physical things you cannot. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, okay. That's a fair opinion. I mean, for me, I think you can choose to do what you want with your body, but I don't care how much surgery you have or enhancements you do or whatever you want to call it. It's, you can't go, you can't go from female to male without taking a bunch of shots and being on par with a man. So if a man goes over and does a transgender thing to a woman, I believe that they're always going to have an advantage because they just have
their body.
Yeah.
So, and my thing is, if you can't conceive, you're not a female. I mean, I'm sorry. You can't have a baby
if you don't have the
physically.
Physically have the organs, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting one to follow. Just wanted to see, Freddie, you got any thoughts on that before we go to the next one?
You know what? The FCC would kick us off the airways if I view.
Okay, so moving on. Only
but even to say, I agree with both of you. I agree with both of you.
Fair enough. John Clayton passed away this past week, and he was a really good, in my opinion, really good football. Not an analyst, but a reporter. I mean, he wrote. He was a really good reporter in his day. I always felt like, his ESPN commercial was one of the funniest.
Oh man, that was the best.
You know what I mean? And I mean,
Mom, I'm done with both.
And
when he had the jean jacket,
and the hair and stuff, and when he was working for ESPN, he did a hell of a job. He would really dig into stuff. He wasn't a fanboy, and that's part of the problem I have with ESPN now is they tend to follow the fandom instead of being, really, really objective. And I always thought John was objective. Don't know what the causes were. I know he was in his 60s. You guys got any thoughts on John's passing?
67. Well, he's. I mean, I think he was laid off. Was he?
No,
from ESPN.
I think he still worked for them.
No, he didn't work for him anymore. He was part of that. Yeah, there's all kinds. They rotated some guys out, and and he hasn't been there for a while, was my understanding, Freddie. You know, when they kind of cleaned house and went with some other some newer talent.
Well, I don't know how could you let a talent like him go though, because he would ask the greatest questions of the people he would interview, you know, and sometimes you get these guys that've been around so long, Russ, you can't recapture that within a new hire, you know, in such a short time, you know. And so once you build up personal relationships with people, you can't, I don't care what company you're, you just can't throw that away, because the people that he's dealing with get comfortable with him.
They know him.
That was his personality too. So
I think with that, and you're right, JR. I think what, you know, because I thought he still worked for ESPN, but I think what has happened is that ESPN, they're also looking at the demographics, the age group in which, you know, people are really follow the people that really follow John Clayton. And I remember watching him or whatever. All I saw the older dude or whatever. But those that really began watching John Clayton when he came up in, you know, whether it was Seattle or Pittsburgh.
Seattle, yeah, he's a big time Seattle guy.
You know, I think, you know, that group is no longer really buying in or paying as much attention to ESPN. So I think ESPN, you know, they're targeting an audience that with their anchors and their reporters or whatever the case may be,
younger,
more so to their viewership. And I think that's what, you know, it's not that he wasn't still good or whatever, but I think ESPN, they may have felt their ratings slipping. So, you know, when they decide to clean house, you know, may need to get younger, fresher talent in, you know.
Yeah, he was one of the good guys. Absolutely, right?
Yep.
Last thing I got, I mean, it's springtime. Days are getting a little bit longer. You guys doing anything unique with your own individual, you know, workout regimens or anything like that? Does springtime change anything for you with regards to what you guys are doing? And if so, what is it?
Well, for me, you know, my situation, so I really can't do the workouts that I want to do. So I'm just doing a lot of chair stretching and stuff like that until I, you know, can do a little bit
Didn't
more.
you get into cycling last year or no?
Yeah, I got into cycling. In fact, I got to put my bike in the shop for a tune-up, but I can't ride it a long time. Once I start sweating, you know, I got to sit down. So,
right.
But pretty soon, hopefully I'll be back in shape and back in the gym and stuff.
Excellent. Freddie?
I've been going to a trainer, you know, a personal trainer 3 days a week. And then I would try to get in some work either I would go Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays with the trainer. And I would try to throw in maybe a Tuesday or a Thursday, depending on, you know, whatever I have going on. But no, I'm going to continue doing my thing. If I don't like the trainers, then, you know, you still got the equipment. I'm just going to keep doing my thing and go from there.
I'll walk 4 miles, you know, 3 times a week. So for me, what spring does is kind of going back to what I was saying to JR is it gives me an opportunity to not have to do it on the, you know, on the treadmill. It's nice outside. So, you know, I'm a cyclist too. Don't take that the wrong way. And I'm not fast. I don't have a sexy looking bike. It's big, but it carries me. But I love the idea of being able to get out and just ride, you know, and, you know, I may set out to do 10 miles and end up doing, you know, 15, sometimes 20 or 30, getting some warmer weather back, you know, and a chance to go out and do some form of cardio that is not the treadmill I'm looking forward to that. That's all I had on the coach's clipboard for this week. What I want to do is I'm going to remind you guys that our question of the week last week was, have you done anything dumb or stupid in the car and then tried to rectify it? That was my question of the week last week. This week, our question of the week is coming from Freddie. So over to you, buddy.
Last year around this time, we saw the differences in men's and women's basketball in the NCAA regarding the treatment and the food and the workout equipment. How do you feel about the treatment of women's, the resources women are being provided now in athletics as a whole? How do you feel about it?
Fair enough. What we'll do is we're going to capture that. And what we'd like you guys to do is, you know, again, you know, assuming that you're following us on YouTube and on Instagram at 15 Good Minutes, weigh in. You know, do you think that there's equity in the resources that are provided to the women in the NCAA, the same ones that are being provided to the men? All right.
Hey, when you ask that question, ask them if they follow men's basketball or female basketball?
Or both, or any kind,
yeah,
right?
Or both.
Okay.
Yeah, that's, that would be great to know.
Thanks to everybody for tuning in this week. We really do enjoy having you guys here. As we said, please like and subscribe on YouTube at 15 Good Minutes, at Twitter at 15 Good Minutes. We really like interacting with you guys. We hope that you are enjoying the NCAA tournament as much as we are. Go Heels. And that we look forward to getting back with you guys again next week. As always, be safe, and we'll see you then, gentlemen.
Peace.
Go Heels.